If you are a die-hard Browns fan and you want to see Cleveland host the Lombardi Trophy in February, then go ahead and like this video because it all starts this offseason. We're getting the right people in the right spots and getting the right pieces in the right places. So smash that big thumbs up icon to start today's show, which is all about a perfect offseason plan for the Cleveland Browns. Today's Browns Report is presented to you by the Fetch Rewards app. It's a phenomenal, super easy-to-use app where you can earn points on any receipt from any store or restaurant and then redeem those points for gift cards and other rewards. Check them out. Go to chatsports.com/fetch. Use the promo code Cleveland, and I'll have that in the comments and the description of today's video. But today's video is all about a perfect offseason plan for the Cleveland Browns. 5 steps. We're not sending them to rehab. It's not that bad, but we're going to figure out how to get the Browns not only back in the playoffs like last year, but winning in the playoffs and going toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs and competing in the AFC, which sadly is looking pretty difficult these days because Joe Burrow has casually taken his Bengals to the Super Bowl in just his second season. But the first thing we got to look at, I think, is what is the Browns' biggest needs this offseason? I think it's these 5 right here. Wide receiver, clear and obvious. You have an aging wide receiver, top guy in Jarvis Landry, and you have some underwhelming number 2s, 3s, and 4s in DPJ, Anthony Schwartz, and Higgins if he even returns next year. And I'm not saying that the jury's out on Schwartz, it's over with, but that's a big focal point to improve on. Quarterback, the second one. I don't think a quarterback change is going to happen this offseason. I don't envision the Browns making a blockbuster trade for someone, but they definitely need to improve that in this offseason, and that's just about getting Baker healthy. We'll run through the other stuff later on in the show, but here's number 1, my offseason plan here to get the Browns to hoist the Lombardi Trophy in the Super Bowl. Draft a wide receiver at the number 13 overall pick. The Browns need a wide receiver, and it's a good year to need a wide receiver because through the draft or free agency, there are plenty of targets. My top target is Garrett Wilson, but throughout the offseason, I'll probably look at some other guys. I think Jameson Williams and other guys are good, but Garrett Wilson this year for the Ohio State Buckeyes, which plenty of Browns fans are fans of the team down in Columbus, he was phenomenal, right? He was one of the best wide receivers in college football, and he was a full-on display show of what you should do to try and get drafted in the top 15. If you ever want to get drafted in the top 15, go do what Garrett Wilson did because I think it's going to happen. Jameson Williams, another guy that I like a lot. In fact, he's probably my number 1 quietly, but it's just that ACL injury and everyone else overreacting to it, and then me kind of falling somewhere in the middle of 2022, doctors are really good at their jobs. I wouldn't bite too hard at that. Drake London, Chris Olave, and Treylon Burks, also really good guys. I like London a lot, and Burks as well. Olave, I don't know. I feel like he's a little more too designed for college than the pros. Who do you want the Browns to draft, though? I'm fine with any of those 5 guys, preferably Wilson or Williams. Drake London's great. Treylon Burks, I don't know. Maybe he's a second-round guy, but maybe not. Let me know who you'd want to see Cleveland go out and get in the NFL draft down below in the comments section. Speaking of wide receivers, my second point of this offseason plan is sign a big-name wide receiver. Even if you draft someone at 13, go out and get a big name because there are plenty out there this offseason. Devontae Adams, absolutely the biggest one of all. I think he goes wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, and I don't think Rodgers comes to Cleveland, so I'm just going to kind of fade him that a little bit. But Godwin, absolutely attainable. Chris Godwin is going to be one of the more sought-out wide receivers this offseason, and I want the Browns to be a team pursuing him. Be aggressive. Give him a 5-year deal. Make it happen. Allen Robinson, Mike Williams, Christian Kirk, kind of in the second tier of these top guys, so like 1A. Now, the actual second tier looks something like this, where if the Browns don't land one of those first 5 guys you saw on your screen, they need to land one of these guys. If they come away from free agency with no one on screen right now, I'm going to be very disappointed. Between the first 5 and the second 5, they have to get someone there. And the second 5, you're like, Russell Gage, that's not really anything that's going to get you jazzed up much. we'll look at some other wide receiver talk for the Cleveland Browns in just a moment, but I want to tell you about the Fetch Rewards app in a little more detail because it's super easy and free use to app where you can earn points on any receipt from any store or restaurant and then redeem those points for gift cards. It's that simple. So let me show you how it's done. You just get the Fetch Rewards app, and when you open it up, you get your receipts out, which usually hand up, I leave in the bag and I throw it away. Not anymore. All you got to do is just scan your receipt, and you're going to be rolling in points, which you can redeem for gift cards. Now, scenario. Suppose it's like The Office scenario, right? Except, what if one of these receipts is from a mom and pop shop and the app can't read it? Not an issue. All you got to do is just enter the information. The app does the rest, and then you've got tons of bonus points, tons of points to redeem for gift cards, okay? Where do you want those gift cards to be? I don't care. Wherever you like to shop and dine. You could do Amazon, Visa, your favorite restaurants. Wherever it is, just get hooked up with the Fetch Rewards app. Make sure you go to chatsports.com/fetch. Use the promo code Cleveland, and you get 3,000 bonus points on top of everything. And then just turn receipts you're already getting for things you're already buying into free points to use to get gift cards. I'll have all that information in the comments and the description high up too, so you can't miss it, of today's Browns Report. An important thing to look at as we get back on track to the wide receiver conversation is, well, can the Browns go out and afford a wide receiver? Yeah, they can. They've got plenty of cap space this year. And what you're looking at here is the Browns 2022 payroll. And I've got the year for when all these guys hit free agency. So a lot of these players, 4 out of the top 5 guys in their payroll, are entering the final year of their contract. Baker Mayfield, hard to say what his future will be and whether or not it'll be in Cleveland, but they could be off the hook for him in years to come, but they'll get another quarterback, so he'll still be high up. Landry, if this is his last year in Cleveland, if he plays this season for the Browns, it'll be his last year in Cleveland. They're not going to re-sign him. Conklin, hard to say because of the injuries lately. I hope he comes back afterwards, but maybe this is his final year as a Brown. Denzel Ward will get extended. Austin Hooper, this will be his last year with the Browns, I'm sure of it. So that's 1 through 5. Then you look at 6 through 10 here, and Myles Garrett, he's going to be in Cleveland for hopefully his entire career. J.C. Treader, another guy entering the final year of his deal. Case Keenum, also going to be entering the final year of his deal. It just, a lot of room is out there for the Browns to be able to be a big spending team in free agency, because here are those top 10 guys, and a lot of them are going to be off their books after this season. So you know what, Andrew Berry? Bring your checkbook. Okay? I want you to walk into free agency like the rich mom at a Girl Scout cookie sale and just start writing them out, all right? Because the Browns need to be spenders this offseason. I don't want them to just pussyfoot around and get a middle-ish name wide receiver and call it a day. No, back the truck up. Get someone like Chris Godwin. Shoot for the stars with Devontae Adams, and if you fall short and get Godwin, Allen Robinson, or Mike Williams, hell yeah, I'd be pumped up about that. Let's get Baker a real, and he's had a good targets, don't get me wrong. I don't want to feed that narrative. But one last ditch effort, I'd say, this year, because if Baker Mayfield connects with Chris Godwin, you got a great duo for years to come now. Who do you want the Browns to sign? You saw 10 names out there, plenty more, not even the wide receiver pool, but across the board. Let me know who you would like to see the Browns go out and get ink on paper to bring them to Berea and bring them to Cleveland and play for the Browns in 2022. My third step in this offseason rehab-ish plan, re-sign Jadeveon Cloweny. I've been talking about this for a couple weeks now. I want to see him return. Initially, I was a little skeptical of the Clowney signing because the last couple of seasons wasn't that great for him, but I think he may have really found something in Cleveland, trying to get his career back on track after being a number 1 overall pick. Before we talk about Clowney in more detail, guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel already, would really appreciate it. Hit that big red button, join the channel. We're on the march to 5,000 subscribers. Join us if you have not, and if you already have, appreciate you being a part of the Browns Report. It's one big Cleveland Browns family here, so join us today if you have not already. Clowney this season was awesome. 9 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, came up huge down the stretch, especially after kind of middle of the season, some injuries, and just couldn't quite get his footing. But those are almost the most sacks he's had in his career. 9.5 is his career high. He did that a couple of years ago in more games than this year. So if he played all 17 games this year for the Browns, he absolutely would have blown out his career high. But Clowney and Myles Garrett could be a great Batman and Robin duo. So give Clowney a 2-year, $21 million deal. He signed a 1-year, $8 million contract last offseason. So, yeah, give him, a couple extra million, and he deserves after what he did last year. He's 28. I'd be a little hesitant to sign him on for a 3-4-year contract because he can be inconsistent and struggle to stay healthy. But give him a multi-year deal. Don't just do another 1-year contract and then have to be in the same issue next offseason. So 2-year, $21 million. That sounds good. Shake hands. Make it happen. Type 90 if you want the Browns to re-sign Clowney, or if you want Clowney to re-sign with the Browns, because maybe it's not so much on the Browns to get Clowney back, but it's more so on Clowney to want to come back to Cleveland. Show him some love with the number 90, his number, down below. My fourth part of this offseason plan is extend Denzel Ward. The Browns' top cornerback, former top 5 pick back in 2018, is entering the final year of his contract, and the extension is coming, so there's no doubt about this. He was one of the best corners in football. PFF, Pro Football Focus, ranked Ward 12th out of 120 cornerbacks in 2021. He's going to make just over $13 million next season. Ink him to a bigger deal. Just lock it down, get it out of the way. You know it has to be done. It's kind of like homework at this point, and there's no better feeling than when you get homework done well ahead of time, and then you can just look back and be like, well, good thing I had the whole weekend off. So just get this deal done. You know it's going to happen. You're not going to let Clowney leave. He's one of the best corners in the NFL. He's one of the best corners the Browns have had for quite some time. So just lock him down. Here are the top 5 highest paid corners on an average going into 2022. I'm guessing he won't get Jalen Ramsey money, but the salary cap is going up dramatically. And when signings happen, don't look at them as a sort of a transactional direct correlation of, if you're the number 1 highest paid corner, you're the number 1 corner in the NFL. No, it just means you signed the latest contract. I think he should probably go in that $19 million range. So give me a 5-year, $90 million contract. Ramsey signed a 5-year, $100 million. Not quite Jalen Ramsey, but he could leverage the cap going up, and the Browns have plenty of money to spend. So if he can make more, by all means, go ahead. He deserves it. But I think 5-year, $19 million with an $18 million, $90 million, and the $18 million average, that's about right to me, right? I think I'd like to see that happen. Fifth and final step of my offseason plan for a perfect offseason for the Cleveland Browns: improve the interior defensive line. They're going to be missing a lot of guys next season. Look at the defensive line depth chart. You're not going to get Malik Jackson back most likely. Malik McDowell has bigger fish to fry, and that's basically talking about the judicial system in Florida after he was arrested for a lot of mischievous things we won't talk about. Clowney could be on the way out too, so you got to improve that interior defensive line. Togiai, the rookie from last year, just didn't really didn't progress, I think, as much as Cleveland would have liked him to, and so a lot of it change up in that interior defensive line. So go out and get this guy, B.J. Hill, defensive tackle from the Bengals. It's okay if you don't know kind of middle-of-the-road defensive tackles. I wouldn't hope anyone studies that. But you may remember his name because just yesterday in the AFC Championship game, came up with possibly-ish the play of the game for the Bengals, made a huge interception on Patrick Mahomes. So he was a former second-round pick from the Giants, got traded last year back in August from the G-Men to the Bengals after being a bit of a disappointment after a great rookie year. And he's set himself up to get a nice payday. He had 5.5 sacks during the regular season. I loved what I saw to Hill. He knows the division. Teams love to just move familiar faces around within the division because they get to see him often. So, yeah, go out and sign B.J. Hill to improve the interior defensive line. That is my 5-step ideal offseason plan. Now, don't go anywhere because we're not done with the video. There's other stuff to talk about in the Cleveland Browns news and rumors stuff because our good old friend Johnny Manziel was rather mean. But before we talk about that, do you guys want the Bengals to win the Super Bowl? I'm very curious what you have to say here because I get it. You got the Brown connection from the Browns to the Bengals, and it's fellow Ohio teams. So I sort of understand that side of the argument. But at the end of the day, It's an AFC North opponent. It's an AFC North rival. No, I don't want to see the Bengals win the Super Bowl because I don't want to have to deal with a Bengals Super Bowl winning team for years to come. I'd rather see them lose in the Super Bowl, have a horrible hangover, and be one of those teams of what could have been, but they never quite, because I don't want the Browns to have to play another very difficult AFC North opponent twice a year. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. But to wrap up the video, the final note here, Johnny Football is back. He loves talking shit on Twitter, and he loves talking shit to the Browns and Cleveland, and I don't like that. And here's what he had to say. He quote tweeted someone. You can find this on his Twitter. He went back and forth for a while, but he said Cleveland sucks. That's not negative. That's factual. Not the people, the place itself. So here's my 2 cents on this thing. One, Manziel has always kind of flirted with, I hate Cleveland, but no, I like the Browns. The people are great. It's just X, Y, and Z. But he's never really identified what exactly he hates within the Browns organization or the Cleveland city itself. Manziel, you were a first-round pick. The Browns wanted you to succeed, and I get it. You did not get the best praise and best help from your coaching staff. Pettine was not a phenomenal head coach for you. But at the end of the day, no one wanted you to succeed more than the Cleveland Browns. You were supposed to be the next Jesus at quarterback for Cleveland. You're Johnny frickin' Football. You won a Heisman your freshman year. And I'm sorry that it didn't work out with the Browns, but don't blame your entire football career because of 2 bad years of the Browns and because of coaching staff and not taking responsibility while you were partying your ass off. You couldn't even cut it in the CFL. You got bigger fish to fry than worrying about the city of Cleveland. So go ahead and spam LOL in the comment section for Johnny Manziel, thinking he is some magnificent quarterback that just sunk to the bottom of the ocean because of Cleveland's skyline. Don't feed me that garbage. You sunk in Canada. They only have like 8 teams, and you couldn't even cut it there. Spam your LOLs down below, and we'll catch you later here on the Browns Report.